Yo, what is going on, my dudes? Welcome to another RuneScape news coverage video. For this video, we're going to be talking about the Skillcape perks once again. Some changes have been made, and we have some idea of some of the perks going forward. So without any further ado, let's jump right into the video. Let's go.
Cats is the illest. What you talking about, Willis?
Alright guys, so on the latest live stream, Daze did talk about some of the changes that we can expect with the Skillcape perks, both 120s and the 99s. And we also have a forum post that actually shows off some of the changes for the capes themselves and what the perks will be going forward. So if you want to check out the entire forum post, I'll have it linked down below, and you can just, visit there and read off the entirety of the post. But without any further ado, we're just going to jump right into the gist of it all. So a lot of people have been giving their feedback of what they want to do with this whole thing. I've voiced my opinions in the previous video about the Skillcape perks about it. Many people did share that, mentality. Others didn't. But here is their final conclusion. They've decided to not add any perks to virtual 120 skills because that moves the goalpost to 120 rather than 99, which in my opinion, that's what I've said before. I'm really happy about that. So that means that the 120 capes, the virtual ones, will remain cosmetic only, which also means that the team working on the Skillcape perks can push them out even sooner since there's less perks they actually have to do, meaning we can get the content much sooner than previous. But remember though, this is just for the virtual Skillcapes that are 120, meaning Invention, Dungeoneering, and Slayer will be receiving perks for their new 120 Skillcapes, which will work in conjunction with the 99 Skillcape perks of the same skill. So if you have the 120 cape, you can have access to both perks. That being said, let's talk about the 120 perks that we're getting and what they will do. Although there is some feedback that we'll go to later in the video, which will go into more detail, and some of these perks might be slightly changed, but this is the initial thoughts or the initial perks that they came up with. So Dungeoneering has a chance to allow you to choose the boss you face in Demonheim and increases the chance of receiving lore drops. That's not too bad. I mean, it's not particularly too powerful or anything like that, but it does have some use, so I'm fine with it. Invention will increase the chance of receiving components when disassembling items. Now this one I like. This one will be very useful, so I'm happy about it. Slayer, once a day you can choose your task from a Slayer master of your choice. Master Questcape teleports to a selection of locations including Champions, Heroes, and Legends Guild, the Wise Old Man's House, and Tears of Gothics. Those are your initial 120 perks. Now, like I said, we will talk about some feedback changes, and some of those are slightly different, and others are pretty much the same, but we'll get into that after we talk about the 99 perks. So that being said, let's go into the 99 perks. So these are the ones that have been changed as of right now. So Agility will make it so you no longer fail obstacles. Construction, a chance to save planks when building in your player-owned house. This one is pretty good. I can see it being a really good money saver for many people if they're going for 120 construction. Crafting, you have a chance to cut all gems in your inventory at once. Divination, all wisps will last for a fixed amount of time. Fire making, the fire spirits will give better rewards and the cape acts as a light source. Fletching has a chance to make extra bolts and arrows. This one I like a lot. I'll definitely be bringing the Fletching cape when I want to make my criminal bolts just to get that extra amount each time. So that's great. Hunter, increased range for your traps. I believe this means hunter creatures will be attracted to your traps at a further distance, but I'm still unclear about exactly what this one means. And thieving, all pickpocketed drops are noted. That can be pretty useful. I know if you're like thieving in, for example, the Ithel Hour, you get a bunch of soft clay. So if it notes that and you don't have to bank nearly as often, just one of those little tiny quality of life changes that will make thieving more convenient to train, which is nice. So those are the initial changes, but like I said, they do have some feedback and some things have changed slightly. So we're going to actually discuss what those changes are right now. First up, Agility. Several people have questioned where this would be useful to have the ability to never fail an obstacle. Current use of the obstacles have been limited, especially in places like the Heffen course. While some places can be used with it, it is something that they want to make more use of in the future. They want to make obstacles that do have fail chance, and future high level courses will also be designed around the perk or with the perk in mind, such as the high-level Brimhaven Agility course idea that they've toyed around with in the past, which means that this perk will feel rather weak on release, but will grow in value over time as they release these new agility options. So that's interesting to hear. They're kind of future-proofing this particular perk, so that does mean that we're also expected to see some agility updates in the future, so that also has me excited for what's to come in that regard. Next up, we didn't really talk about this previously, but the Constitution perk. Currently, it doubles your health regen. Several players have asked for this to work in combat, and they are happy to accommodate this and will make that change. So Constitution will double your healing rate, not only normally, but also in combat. I am curious to see how this is going to help sustain you in long extended PVM trips, if it's even going to be viable. Maybe people will test it, figure it out, see if it's going to be viable or not, but an interesting change nonetheless. Now, the crafting, this is their data, shows that crafting is one of the least used capes. There's been a large response in favor of the current perk, the one where it acts as thread. So they will keep that alongside the newly suggested gem cutting perk. So it'll have two uses, which seems pretty cool. Next up, the Divination one. Just for a little bit of clarity, this perk will work by giving each wisp a fixed spawn time. Rewards like the ethereal connection from the Memorial to Gothics will extend the wisp's duration on top of this fixed amount. Dungeoneering, a frequent question that people ask after hearing what the perk was, is people asked, will you be able to take the Dungeoneering cape into Demonheim? Simple answer is yes, you will. Fire making, there are some questions about what the improved rewards from the spirits are. While they haven't completed the balancing yet, it's likely to be that low value drops will be less common, or the amount received from them will be increased. So I'm sure we'll find out about which route they take at a later date. And several people have mentioned that the current perk is already useful, the one where you can just light a fire on your spots, but it's actually one of the least used of all the perks, apparently, at around 60 people using it at any given day. Moving on to the Prayer perk, it is considered one of the weakest because you're not able to stack the effect with the First Age outfit. So as part of the quality of life fixes, they will allow it to inherit the XP buff if you have the Third Age cape unlocked, which is awesome. Moving on to Thieving, in the similar vein, they're going to allow the Thieving skill cape to stack with the Ardoin cape. So that'll have much better use. Moving on to Slayer, this is the 120 perk, by the way. Considerable number of people have expressed their opinions. They're not happy with the 120 perk. So, as such, they're proposing the following change. Once a day, you can choose your task from a Slayer Master of your choice. Similar to the Reaper's Choice, this will allow you to select a task you would most like to do from the tasks available from that Slayer Master, which is really good for me. I'm 200 mil, so I don't do Slayer, but I do Magister a pretty decent amount of time. So if I can always choose to have the Soul Devourer task, I'm going to love that. That's just going to help me with my Magister tasks constantly, so I'm really happy about that 120 Slayer perk. Moving on to the Master Quest Cape perk. There are several mentions about the teleports listed not being particularly useful, so those are just a few examples that they could include. However, they are more interested in hearing from the community about suggestions for areas that we'd like as teleports. Keep in mind that they should be linked to areas that have a strong lore connection going forward. So as I always say, do give your feedback if you have any good suggestions you can come up with. And finally, some additional information. 120 perks will work alongside the 99 perk. You will need to use your Master Cape on your Max or Comp Cape to add the additional effect, just keep that in mind, if you currently already have the 99 perk. And if you add a 120 cape to your Max or Comp in the future, it will automatically also add the 99 perk as well. The last thing I want to close out on is you may have noticed the lack of mining and smithing perk changes. This is due to the rework that is coming out in the future. They didn't want to rework this and then have mining and smithing come out and find out that it's not that useful. So the rework for those capes will come with the mining and smithing rework later on. That being said, once again, the post is down in the description below if you really want to read them off for yourself. That's all I got for this particular topic. And if you enjoyed the video, hit that like button. If you're not subscribed yet and you want to stay up to date on all things RuneScape related, then hit that subscribe button. Anyways, I appreciate you watching. I am out. Peace.